Okay guys, quick update with Bitcoin. So we're going to discuss potential points to long or take profit on your short, but most importantly, if we continue dropping, where your most critical support levels are below. And we're going to use a few different charts to look for confluence with those targets. You can see currently right now we're holding on the bottom Bollinger Band on the daily at around 66,600, and that is in confluence with the H1 chart at the support level, just trend line, which is around 66,700. So that would be your point too long with a stop below. We're going to cover a few other charts as well. And guys, in the last video, I told you if you leave a like, I would put up more videos. You guys left like 1.6 thousand likes. I think that's the most I've ever gotten. So I'm keeping my word, and I'm going to keep you guys updated more regularly. So keep smashing those likes. I'll keep putting out the videos. So again, 69K broke. You can see we did, right here, notice 69,900. That was the same video further in talking about the H1 chart. It said your resistance was 69,850. Take note this trend line right here. This was support, 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 flipped as resistance. And you notice we pushed up, we tested that white trend line, and then we came back down. As you can see right here, this was our support, resistance, and resistance. But overall, this was your key line to pay attention to. You see we pushed up, got rejected, then we broke 69K, and now we're holding 66,700. So if we continue up, your current resistance level right now, your next point to potentially take profit on your long or short, if we continue up, is around 68,300, around that area. That will be your next key support, key resistance level. And guys, if you just zoom out and look at my chart to understand why this is the case, you can see right here it was support. Right here it was support. You see we did hold support here temporarily, right? We got a little push up and then we broke it. So if we come back up, it makes sense. This would be a point too short or take profit on your long or 68,300. So if we do push up, that's your first target to watch. Now I want to give you targets if we drop below. Now we can just zoom out right here and we can look and see where these levels are. And you can see while we're holding support currently on this yellow trend line. You can see, and this line's been here for a while, you can see there's a lot of support and resistance through here, resistance through here, support and resistance through here. You can see it was support. We did get some wicks below, but ultimately it was support. You can see that's why we're holding right here. So again, that is a point to potentially long with a stop below. I'm not saying we cannot break it. I just want to show you why we're holding that point. Now, if we do drop more, and again, this is still in the H1 chart, we're going to cover the D1 chart as well. Your next support level below, I would say your most critical support level. Now, you can see that this line right here, I'm going to outline it in white just so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see this has been a lot of support and resistance. We pull this out, you see that's just below, right around 66,000. Now that could be a point to scalp along, but your most critical support level on the H1 chart is going to be down around, you can see this thick yellow, thick red line right here. If you'll notice, I mean this, we can go way back. You can see all the way back here, this was December 2023. You can see that this line right here has been a lot of resistance right here, support and resistance. You can see right here it was resistance. When it flipped as support, and right here around 50,900, once this held as support twice, you can see that's we pumped from that point. So again, if you look left, you can see why these lines are so important. So we know if we drop, that will be your next most critical support level. All right, so if we break below 66K, I would pay attention to a target up potentially. Now again, it's upward angle, depends when you make contact. This is 64,600. Now here's what, 64,700. And right here is around 64,000. So let's just say 64.5K to 64K will be your most critical support levels just going by the H1 chart. So again, if we break 66,700, that becomes resistance. I would pay attention to these targets. Now I do want to cover the D1 chart and just show you, now it was a few videos back, actually more than a few videos back, but I was talking about these three lines right here. And I just want to show you how important these lines are. So we know if we zoom out, this is a D1 chart, this is on the daily. I can tell you this line right here will be support, all right? So let's see what target that is. And again, we are holding right here on the bottom Bollinger Band on the daily. So if we give a price target here, keep in mind this same daily candle, if we drop down, that is right where this blue ring is. Now yes, I know a lot of people saying, you said when we cross that blue ring we're going to pump. We never cross the blue ring without a pump. Well, you know, we did push above it. You can see we just bounced down this ring. So you could have longed here. Now these would have been scalp longs, obviously. If you held your long, you would have lost money. But every time we hit it, we got to bounce. You got to bounce here, like 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And you can see this point right here when we made contact with this blue ring, that was right at 66,630. We pushed up all the way to what, 72K. So that is going to be a support level. So if we break below this bottom Bollinger Band on the daily, not only do you have this ring that we know price will respect, all right, every time we hit it, we got to bounce. So if we do come down, 63,400 looks like an ideal point to open long. If it's the next daily candle open, you know, that's down around 63,300. But that would be your first major point to go long, all right? Because we will respect this ring. If we could come down, we could test it as support, push up from there. We could continue riding down this ring. I just know that that ring will be a support level, but because we have confluence, we have a fib channel line, and we have that ring. So that would be my first major target to pay attention to as a key support level. If we drop below that, these three lines, what I was getting to, this yellow line, this orange line, and this red line, those are your most critical support levels. And as I mentioned before, you know, every time we come down, well, let me just show you, because I have this blank chart right here, and we're going to copy and paste them in to show you why they're so critical. So again, and this is if we break below, let's say 63.4K. I will be opening along if we drop down and test this ring, especially if we come down and test it right here, and I'm going to show you why. That'd be around 62.5K. So let's copy this yellow line in over this blank chart. As you can see, let me just extend this out to the left. You can see this has been a very critical line. Again, this is going back right here is 2013. Just want to make it very clear why this is such an important level. You can see here was a resistance, right? A lot of support, right? We broke below it, we dropped, and we pushed up. It was resistance, held as support, we pushed up. It became resistance, resistance. As soon as we pushed above it, it was support. We pushed up, it was support, and we dropped below it. It was resistance, became support, support, support. Then we pushed up. You see, then it became resistance, right? Well, now you can see over here, it held as support, right? We dropped below it just a bit, but ultimately it held as support. So that will be a critical line. This goes back since the beginning of Bitcoin. So that is your first major key support level to pay attention to. Let me go back to this chart. And that is around, again, so if we came straight down today, that's right at 62,200, all right? And it makes more sense if I doubt we would just drop straight down. I want to make sure you have these targets. Even if we go sideways, I mean, this days out, weeks out, your key support level is still around 63,200 around the area. This is the line to pay attention to. If you break below 63,400, this is a very critical support level, all right? The next one, and again, these are your most critical support levels. If we break below this red one, I think it's game over. Let me paste this in to show you why this is the case. Same thing, just like you can see with the yellow one. This was resistance, all right? Pushed up as resistance, held as support, 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 flipped as resistance, we dropped. It was resistance, held as support. As soon as we broke it, we dropped, came up as resistance. We pushed above it, held as support, pushed up. See, it held as support here. We dropped it, and we came down. And you can see we also, well, basically we're holding above that point. We haven't tested yet because we haven't dropped that far. Just want to show you why these lines are so important and why I have them on the chart. Let's grab this red line. Again, another critical support level to pay attention to. And you can see this one, hold on guys. And you can see this one right here was resistance. It became support, 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 and we broke it. And you can see right here, and if you remember that video I put out, I was talking about right when we made contact where all of these lines intersected. So look, that would be a point too short, right? Right here when we were right at 52,800. Said, look, there's a lot of damn resistance here. All of these three lines that price has been respecting since pretty much the beginning of Bitcoin, that'd be a point too short, all right? And we got two taps on it. However, I said if we push above it, that would be bullish to expect one hell of a pump, and that is what happened. But you can see we came down and we tested this support level here. So again, that's why I'm saying if we drop, these are your most critical support levels. I mean, these are the most important support levels I could find going back since the beginning of Bitcoin. So you know If we come down, 62,626, all right, which I think is close to that blue ring. Your next critical support level below that is right around, and again, it's upper angle, depends when you make contact, but let's just say roughly, what, 60,400. But your most critical support level below that has to hold, all right? So if we break below 56,750, depending, it's more of a, it's less of an angle, and directly below is 56,300. Here's 57,200. But that is your last critical support level. If by chance, you know, we break all these levels and this becomes resistance, then we know that we are now in a bear market and we're going much lower. But I just want to make sure you understand why those three levels are important. I know with all the stuff on the chart, it's kind of hard to make out. But again, as I said, you'll notice every time we make contact with this blue ring, we got to bounce. It happened. Let me give you an arrow tool, make this easier. Every time we made contact, got to bounce here, here, here. This bounce we pushed up. So it just makes sense if we continue down, pay attention. Again, if we dropped, if price just started tanking, the next point to take profit on your long, take profit on your short, open and long would be 63,400 down to 62,500. Because we know if these levels start flipping as resistance, well, your next target, it will be this orange trend line that I just showed you, and then your most key level below that will be right down here. So again, these are your most critical support levels to long, or if they flip as resistance, to short. But again, right now we're holding on that bottom of Bollinger Band on the daily, and as you can see, we got a nice bounce on this yellow trend line. But I would pay attention to these targets right here. Again, like I said, just if you get access to my charts, you can get access to my charts if you want to sign up. The website's opticalcrypto.com. Links pinned in the first comment description. If you do want to get access to Discord, make sure you email me through the website. But again, like I said, just look left and you can see why these are such important levels. You can see that, again, I showed you why once we got that bounce, right? This is the point. It was support and support. We pushed up from this point. So we know, you know, price isn't always, it's not always a horizontal level. Like a lot of people trade that way. You'll see a wick and it'll come up and they'll short that point. But sometimes you can see prices moving at an upward angle. And that's how I create my charts, adding fib channel lines in between, giving you smaller targets to play. But we know that this is a very critical level right here, which means if we drop, that is going to be a point to potentially chance a long. That's around 64,700, 64,200. But the blue ring, again, that's around 63,400, potentially 62,500. And that would put us down around, and again, these are at upward angles, all right? So if we drop straight down, yeah, that would be 62,573. If it's out here, then you're at 63,500. But I just want to show you how these lines work. And you can see this line right here. If we go back, you can see that this line has been respected as well. Let's see here. You can see this line right here, this green line. This was resistance, right? A lot of support, a lot of support. This line right here. We pull this all the way out. Actually, that was a little bit too low. Let's go by this line right here. All right, you can see this was a lot of support and resistance. Make this thicker so you can see it. By the way, guys, that noise you hear is my water cooler in my computer bubbling. But you can see all of this support and resistance on this line right here. So again, your most critical line to pay attention to, support level, will be this red line. But the one just below that, right? You can see, look at all that support and resistance. Price was just pushing up. We got rejected. We got rejected again. It became support. We dropped below it. So this is a critical level just below this one. So again, we pull this out. You can see why these lines are so important. And look, right there, we came down and held support right at 57,000. So if we pull this out, there's further confluence for you. So right there around, what, 62,700. So those are your critical levels. Now, again, this line right here, if we drop below 66,700, you know, you could scalp along, you know, right here at 60,100. You could scalp it up to 60,700, but again, I'm giving you most critical levels to pay attention to. If we break below 66,700, which is very possible, just pay attention to 64,600, 64,200, down to 60,700. That would be on the H1 chart. But most importantly, guys, pay attention to these targets on the D1 chart, just like I showed you right here. These are your most critical support levels. If we get below 56K, I think it's game over. But again, if we break 62K, we'll be breaking back below that blue ring, which to me would be very bearish. So let me give you these targets one more time, guys. I apologize to plan this out too well. So again, if we drop a 0.2 chance along, take profit on a short, great target would be around 64K, 63,500. Again, when you make contact with the ring near this ring. If that breaks, your next first most critical support, 62,500. Your next level below that, again, this would be down around, and again, I'm going outside the ring. I think once we break back inside this ring, that would be even more bearish. So basically what I'm saying is if we just drop down, and let's say we're down around 60,000 back under this ring, guys, it's game over in my opinion. But we could bounce down the outside of this ring. This could take some time to play out. But again, I'm just going to give you these targets on the outside of the ring. So again, these are your most critical support levels. If we drop straight down, 63,400, that's right at the ring. That'd be a great point to chance a long. If that breaks, your next point to long just below 62,500, then your next level to pay attention to. Now we don't have to be outside the ring. I'm just showing you these levels. So 60,275 and around 56,600. But again, that's why I wanted to show you this chart zoomed out so you can see why these lines are so important. I've done this before. Some of you might not have seen that video, but those are your most critical levels to pay attention to. If and when this becomes resistance, well, we know we're going much lower. In the meantime, as long as those levels hold, right, we could go higher. It's still possible that ring could play out. It's just taking a while, and I'm having a lot of problems with my mouse right now. So as long as these levels hold, guys, we could come back down and test this, and we could push higher. It's a possibility. We did cross that ring. It's taken a while to play out, but I just want you to have your levels to play just in case. So you know where to potentially long. If we get one massive candle down, I will be longing 63,400 because we have this fib channel and we have this ring. But we also have these levels here. So if we drop, I will definitely long this point. If it becomes resistance, I will short that point. I will long 60,275. If that becomes resistance, I will short it down to 56,665. And we know that if we break below this point, then in my opinion, we've already started a bear market and we have a lot lower to go. Let me go through a few other charts, guys. So this is the weekly. You can see that on the this right here, price label. This right here is the central Bollinger Band on the weekly. That's sitting right around 63,254. Just showing you the confluence on these charts, right? So if the next week the candle open, that would be a great point to long, 63,300. And the bottom Bollinger Band, where is that sitting at on the weekly? Hold on. That is down around, and again, this is going to push up over time, so we won't know where that's going to be. I mean, if this went out to here, it'd be what? If it kind of does like this, that'd be 57,000. Probably not even worth mentioning. Right now it's setting at 47,700. 47,700, so we won't know where that will be by that time. But I would pay attention to the central Bollinger Band on the weekly. That has been respected. You can see right here, it was resistance here, then it flipped out support, it was resistance through here, and then we pushed above it and got one hell of a pump, right? So that means that's a level to pay attention to, and guys, it's all about confluence. To me, it's not a coincidence that this central Bollinger Band on the weekly is right by this ring. So that's just showing you why these levels are so important and how using multiple charts, the way I create these charts, looking for confluence between those targets, when you find matching targets, it gives you a point to potentially long, or if you drop below this point, to get the hell out. So it does look like 62,500, 63,000 looks like ideal point to, as you can see right here, 60,400 ideal point to chance a long. That's right at the ring. And you can see we got a pump every time we hit it. So confluence with the fib channel line and a ring. Obviously that'll be a point too long to take profit on your short. If you do push back up, well, this critical level that broke, well, now that's your resistance, all right? That's 69,097. If we continue up higher, I'll make a video and keep you updated, but just to say this was a scam, a wick, they just send it down to just stop out longs. Look, if we got back above 69K, well, your next resistance level just above is up around 71,200, depending when you make contact. But I'll make sure you have levels to play for now. And you can see the H1 chart while I'm recording this video. We're coming back down to test it. So again, this is the key level we're watching right now, 66,700. But you do have your most critical support levels below. And also just want to cover the monthly as well. Now in that last video, I did make it very clear. I said, even if we push up, I did not see us going above, what, 72,500 to 73,000. So even if we push up to that point, I think we would have got rejected and come back down. And the reason for this, if you look at the monthly, and as I said, we're way overextended. You can see on the MACD, we were overextended. This was around 2,500 on the MACD back in 2018. You can see we pushed all the way up to what, 10,000, 11,000 here on the MACD right here. You can see we had a peak, we came down to support, we pushed back up, crossed this point, and we dropped. Well, we're getting pretty damn high over here on the at our current peak right now. Well, if it is a peak, I think it could be, but that's up around 10,000 we're at right now, right? And you can see down here on this, it's called VSH RSI Plus. You can see when you get this, all of this green right here, it just means we're just way overextended. Take note, once it drops back below this moving average, right? That's when you peak and you start having a drop. Same thing, see how overextended we were. We crossed this point, and then we kind of started coming down. Notice we came up, tested as resistance right here. That's when we had our second peak, and we dropped. So right now, you can see these vertical lines right here. This means we're way overextended. It's pretty extreme. All right. So and we're up here around 10K. So we know if we drop below this key levels I gave you, that could mean, hey, this could be the start of our next, our next drop, have a major drop. So I'd pay attention, if you do have access to this chart, pay attention to see if we break below this point right here. Because once that happened here, we got a drop, tested as resistance. Once we broke it here, we got a drop. So this is an important chart on my chart. This my website. This is called the Bitstamp Monthly Moving Averages 300-200. So pay attention to this chart. As I mentioned in the last video, if we did get one hell of a drop, your most critical, again, your most critical support level below the ones that I mentioned on that D1 chart would be right here around potentially 34,000. Now, it would be one hell of a drop, so make sure you have the target just in case. This is the O1 chart. This is just for further confluence, guys. So this chart is showing the next support level 65,900 and then down around 62,400. And again, that is on par with what I was showing you with these charts too. So pay attention to these levels. These are your most critical support levels on the D1 chart. And this is the hourly chart. These are most critical support levels on the hourly as well. But just compare these price targets I gave you to get an idea potentially where to long and short. But again, if we push up from 66,700, 68,300 looks like a great point to enter a short. If we get back above that, well, now this critical level that I was talking about before, that's sitting at that's 69,400, and the next resistance level above is 70,368. But I would be watching 66,700 and see if we hold above it or drop. But these are your most critical points. I will not miss chancing along on any one of these areas. If they flip as resistance, I will not miss a chance shorting it if we come back up and test it as resistance. But guys, that's pretty much it. If you can get leverage trading, again, 3 exchanges I use and trust are CoinCatcher, BingX, and BitGet. If you want to sign up to those exchanges, all of the links are pinned in the first comment description. You'll get access to these websites, access to these charts and Discord. The website is opticrypto.com. Links pinned in the first comment description. I also have tutorials teaching my charting method. And guys, as I said, if you don't mind leaving a like, I'll keep you guys updated more often. That's it. I'm out.